While Democrats are hoping to take back the White House in 2020, they're also working to maintain their majority in the House of Representatives. Among those already paving their path toward victory is New York City Council member Ritchie Torres. At just 25 years old, he became the city's youngest elected official and the first openly LGBTQ person elected in the Bronx. Now, the ripe old age of 31, Torres is hoping to secure a seat as a U.S. congressman, and he joins me now. So thank you so much for joining me.
A pleasure to be here.
So there's, been a bit of buzz about you, right? And we were just talking just a couple minutes ago about the difference between running sort of a local race for city council and then getting to the level where you're trying to make it to Washington, D.C. You're running against another city council colleague, rather. His name is Ruben Diaz, right?
Ruben Diaz.
So the kind of interesting thing about him is he is an opponent of gay marriage.
So he is a Trump Republican masquerading as a Democrat.
Interesting.
The most
Okay.
anti-choice, anti-LGBT, conservative Democrat in New York State politics. He once compared abortion to the Holocaust. He was the only Democrat in 2011 to vote against marriage equality in the state Senate. He said in the 1990s that the gay Olympics would lead to the spread of AIDS. He campaigned with Ted Cruz during the presidential primary in the South Bronx.
Okay.
So he is an unusual Democrat.
That's a good way.
And the campaign has the feel of a general election.
So then I want to ask you, what does this race mean to you? Because obviously there's something personal about it too.
Yeah. I think it's a stark choice between a progressive new guard and a reactionary old guard. And we're living through a change moment, and voters now more than ever are eager to cast their ballots for a new generation of leadership. Albert Einstein said if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. Ruben Diaz Sr. has been entrenched in public office for decades, and the South Bronx remains the poorest congressional district in America. I think voters are going to say it's time for a change.
Part of the reason why there is interest in you beyond just the New York area in this district is because there has been some comparison between you and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Your districts are side by side.
Neighboring districts.
You are Puerto Rican as well, of Puerto Rican descent.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
What do you make of that comparison? Do you like it? Is it bothersome?
I have enormous respect for the skill and dynamism of AOC, but in the end, I'm my own person. I've been a public servant for 6 years. I'm in charge of investigations in the New York City Council. So I'm my own person with my own roots in the Bronx, my own story, my own record, and I would prefer to be judged on my own terms rather than in relation to someone else.
You know that she has been targeted by the president, and his general narrative is the Democratic Party is really pushing left. What's your take on the Democratic Party, where it's going, what voters want to see in the party? Because there's a debate. Do voters want a party that's moving left, or or at the end of the day, are voters really moderate?
I think voters care about outcomes. I mean, if we're the party that's going to create greater affordability and greater opportunity for working people, then we will win the election. And we have to be careful not to be distracted by petty politics. The Trump administration is a never-ending stream of scandal. I think we should be careful not to take his bait. We should focus on the bread and butter concerns of everyday working people. That's how we win the elections, and it's the right thing to do.
Did you watch the debate last night?
I did not. I was working.
Really?
Yes. So I'm a city council member as well as a congressional candidate, so I work late hours.
So you're always hustling.
I'm always hustling.
Well, is there anybody that you see right now in terms of Democratic candidates that you like? Maybe I won't go so far as that you're willing to endorse right now, but that you like.
I think there are a number of candidates of interest to me. I'm impressed with Elizabeth Warren's command of public policy, the charisma and temperament of Mayor Pete, and really the fighting spirit of Kamala Harris. There are a number of candidates who appeal to me at the level of personality and policy.
You mentioned the fighting spirit of Kamala Harris. We are watching both her and some other candidates really go after Joe Biden. It's one of the challenges of having so many qualified candidates that during the primary process, people are going to rip each other apart. How do you feel about the conversation at the national level that the Democrats are having about policy issues, how they're talking to each other, the tweets, all of that stuff?
I think it's a healthy debate to have, a diversity of viewpoints within the Democratic Party.
Right.
But in the end, the focus should be on defeating Donald Trump in 2020. And I worry if there's too much infighting within the party. Joe Biden could be the nominee, And if he emerges from the Democratic nomination with irreparable damage, the only person who benefits from that is Donald Trump.
Why on earth do you want to move all the way to Washington, D.C.? This is like one of the most sort of partisan periods that we've ever seen. What makes D.C. attractive to you?
Because I've been a city council member for 6 years, and I've seen the limitations of local government. Much of what we do at the local and state level is administering federal programs. Almost all the policies affecting health and housing are at the federal level. And so if you want to have a real impact in fighting racially concentrated poverty in the South Bronx, if you want to have an impact in lifting the lives of working people, you have to be in Washington, D.C., where the rules are set.
Ritchie Torres, we'll be watching you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.